everyone, so I wanted to make a video today. I was gonna talk about like hate and how it just ruins like everything in this world, but you know, I kind of came across a different situation today where recently I've had a huge epiphany about, you know, how I've lived my life, how I've treated the people in my life, how they've treated me, and etc., etc. And I kind of wanted to talk about that instead. Recently and when I say recently, I mean like the past year and a half, more like a year. I've changed a lot, and I've had a lot happen to me, and I've been put in a lot of different situations where, you know, it's either make or break, you know. And I've been in situations where, you know, I've been treated badly by someone else, but then I've been also in situations where I've treated someone else badly, or it's been both, like it's been back and forth. Late last year, I, you know, decided I wanted a divorce from my husband, and I was married to him for like 4.5 years, but I realized that, you know, once I got out of that situation and I got away from it and I looked back at it, I realized just how toxic the relationship was and how toxic he was in my life in general. And you know, when I had a chance to reflect on it is when I realized it. When I was going through it, I was in denial. I wasn't seeing it. I was blind. I didn't want to see it. I mean, nobody wants to see their marriage, you know, deteriorate or the bad things in the relationship. They all want to look over it and look past it and move on and try to be happy, which I did. But in the end, the truth is going to set you free whether you want it to or not. You're going to eventually see it. And you know, sometimes you can work through it, sometimes you just can't. The things that I went through, I actually tried to work through countless times, but it just, I couldn't succeed. It just wasn't possible. I'm not going to get into what I went through. My close personal friends and family know that, and that's all that matters. I'm just saying it was pretty terrible. And I will never be the same from, you know, before it happened. I will never be like that anymore. But it's for the better. I've changed for the better, not for the worst. I'm not bitter, I'm not mean, I'm not like, oh, why did this happen to me? I've actually learned and grown from it. Anyway, after that, I started seeing someone else, and then things were going great, but I had this one friend who had her concerns, I guess you should put it like that, and she was trying to tell me those concerns in a friendly way, but it's such a touchy subject when, you know, you have a friend who has legitimate concerns about your relationship. How does she bring it up to you without making you mad? There's like no way possible almost, because it's such a touchy subject and it's such a hard thing to talk about and bring up. But you know, I tried to listen to her, you know, I tried to take in her advice and suggestions and her outlook, and I did, but then some things would just tick me off, and I acted on those things, and I shouldn't have, and it just kind of ended up where, you know, I ended up getting really pissed off at her constantly, even though deep down I knew that, you know, she only meant well. I just kind of felt like, what the hell, it's not your place, you know. But when you think about it, it is a friend's place to at least, you know, be vocal about their concerns, because if not, that doesn't really make them your friend if they don't do that, or they don't at least try, because they want what's best for you. And again, once I got out of the situation that she had her concerns about, I reflected on it, I looked back on it, and I realized, whoa, she was right. And you know, she's not the type of person to say, I told you so, you know, you should have listened to me, you didn't, you lost your chance, bye-bye, F you. But she does respect herself enough to keep her, you know, distance from me, to not just immediately let me in again, you know, to take her time, or even if she ever lets me in again, she's not the type of person to just, you know, say, oh, well, you know, you learned your lesson, okay, come back, we're best friends again. And I hate that, but at the same time, I'm proud of her for that, because she's starting to learn now. Because before me, she was put through a lot of situations where she, you know, was treated badly by other people, but then she would let it happen all over again, and she wouldn't learn from it. You know, she would take little tidbits from it, and she would learn from it piece by piece, but never as quickly as she should have. But now she's actually growing as a person. She's actually learning to, you know, learn from the past and evolve from it and move on from it. And I am proud of her for that. But, you know, I do regret how I treated her. I really do. And then I in the end, she turned out to be right. And it really, it sucks, but it's true, you know. But the point of this whole thing is that I've been through a lot of experiences in the past year that has completely changed me. And the situation that she was trying to warn me about, it turned out to be a very bad situation. Like, I wouldn't say, you know, in some ways it was as bad as my marriage, but it was a relationship that turned out to be extremely toxic as well in its own ways, and it actually ended up hurting me more than the previous one in some ways. But I've been through a lot, and I've changed a lot, and I've actually bettered myself, which I'm proud of myself for. I've become more independent over this past year. I got a summer job. I'm in a new relationship now, and we're taking things as slow as possible because, you know, I'm also the type of person to learn from her, you know, past, and to not just let someone else in immediately and really quickly, and, you know, but I do want to learn from it, you know. I don't want it to, like, put a damper on things right now, but I just don't want to rush into anything. But so far, this guy is really great, and I really appreciate him, and he's really there for me. He's really sweet and kind and, like, genuine, you know. But I'm not gonna get into all that right now, because my point is that I'm sorry for whoever I hurt in the past. I'm sorry for putting people down, and I'm sorry to myself for putting myself in situations when I knew better. I knew better than to put myself in that situation. But at the same time, I'm glad that I put myself into those situations, because it made me a stronger person, and it made me more wise, and it made me who I am today. I've found myself a lot more than I could ever have found myself in the past situations that I've been in. I even know how I like to dress now, how I like to do my hair. It's little things too, from doing my nails to getting a tan. Like, I've changed a lot. I mean, there's things that I do now that I would have never thought I would have done a year ago. Like, I never thought I would have even stepped close to half of the things that I've been doing recently. But I guess the whole point of this vlog is that learn from your mistakes, learn from your past. Even if they weren't necessarily mistakes to you in your eyes, they are still always lessons to be learned. There are always lessons. You can take a good situation, a bad situation, a toxic situation, a sad one, whatever, and learn from it in some way to make yourself a stronger person and better yourself. I'm grateful that I've had the people who I've had that back me up, and I'm glad that and I've said things to them that I should have never said. You get in these situations that you know are bad, and so, but whenever someone tries to tell you that, you're like, F you, I don't know what the hell you're talking about, get out of my life. You know, and I don't know why I and other people behave like that, but I don't, it's just, the thing is that I push people away because I want to learn on my own. If I am in a bad situation, I'm in a bad situation. I'm going to learn on my own. I will eventually learn. And I am the type of person to learn from other people's mistakes, but nothing is greater than learning from your own mistakes. Nothing makes you stronger or more wise and makes you feel more complete with yourself than learning from your own mistake. I guess I'm happy that I went through everything that I went through in the end, because it got me to where I am today. All the good things that's happening to me, and even all the bad, it got me to where I am today. Who knows where I would have been if I would have done things differently. I mean, I may be happier, I may be worse off. I don't know, and I don't want to know, because I'm happy with where I am right now. I really am. Well, anyway, I guess I better cut this video short because it's already over 11 minutes long. But thank you for watching, and you know, just the whole point of this is just take what you can, learn from it, just learn from it. And the other point is to the people who I put down and the people who I pushed away, I am truly, truly sorry. I know I can say that a billion times, and I know that it's not really going to mean anything to you, most likely. But as long as I can put it out there, and as long as I can make it seen and heard and known of, I want you, you know, to at least hear me. As long as I can do that, I feel good enough with myself. I genuinely mean that to whoever I pushed away and to whoever I put down. You were right, and I wasn't myself at that time, and I'm sorry, and I've learned from it. I do not blame you if you never want to talk to me again, or be my friend again, or speak to me again. I don't care, you know, because I understand. But I just want you to understand that I'm sorry.